जी बिल्कुल तो अच्छा वो जो प्रीवियस लेक्चर्स की रिकॉर्डिंग आपने देखी ठीक है?
ठीक है सर, एक लास्ट वाली बस एक नहीं आएगी अभी सब।
हाँ?
कुछ तो आ गई थी सर, एक रह गई थी बस
वो सर ने कहा है वो टिक कर देंगे।
वो उसकी कवर हो गया।
ठीक है सर, कवर हो गया।
हाँ।
वो तो हमें पास होगा।
मैं भेज दूँगा वैसे।
ठीक है।
मेरी बात। कुछ बुक्स मैंने आपके साथ शेयर की थी जो आमतौर पर मैं यूज़ करता हूँ। दो बुक्स हैं, तीसरी जो है वो मैंने रेफरेंस में डाली, उसको देख लें। तो these books are also very valuable and very expensive books if you buy hard copy.
Marketing में?
Yes. I think that is the latest edition available in the market.
Right.
जो है।
Recording in progress.
Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. In today's lecture, we are discussing dummy variables. We have already defined dummy variables. What are the dummy variables in finance, in business, in economics, and marketing, HR? Dummy variables are actually the qualitative variables, which otherwise are difficult to estimate in terms of their relationship. But if we apply coding, if we assign codes, for example, 0, 1 or 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 Likert scale based, if variables are of the nature, for example, Likert scale, then we can assign 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 or even 1 to 7 scale. Then the system or the software can read these variables, these qualitative variables by their coding scheme. So in case of dummies, actually we assign binary numbers to the quality. For example, if the quality of the gender is male, we can assign 1 or 0 or any of these two binary numbers. And the other alternative can be assigned another code. For example, if male is assigned 0, the female can be assigned 1. It doesn't make any difference. Similarly, if you are comparing the education levels of different respondents, if you are conducting a questionnaire-based survey, then we can assign different codes to them even. And even different professions can be compared, different education levels can be compared by assigning different codes. In finance, generally the day of the week effect, the Monday effect, Friday effect, Blessed Friday according to the Muslim population, and Black Friday according to the others. So all these things, is either days of the week effect can also be analyzed through this dummy variable. So it is so important. Similarly, if you want to analyze in the HRM system, in the performance management system, for example, what is the effect of boss being present in the office, and what is the effect if he is not in the office? Obviously, the productivity, the working, functioning of the subordinate is affected. So if you are receiving the news that the boss is not coming tomorrow, so you will have different attitude towards working, assignments, etc. So all these things are very important to understand. So coding or binary numbering is so important. Later on, we will also discuss as to how to assign coding to more categories. In case of dummy variables, we have only two characteristics, two traits or two properties of a qualitative variable. That is why we assign only two numbers. One is assigned 0, the other is assigned 1. Now what is the logic of assigning 1? 1 actually indicates the presence of that characteristic, that particular characteristic, which is under consideration, which is title of the discussion, which is the subject of the discussion, and 0 is generally assigned to alternative possibility or alternative trait or alternative characteristic of the same qualitative variable. So this is the logic. But since this is a scientific method, that is why it doesn't matter whether you are assigning 0 to one characteristic and 1 to another characteristic. So it doesn't make any difference. So इसमें the data which we are using today for the purpose of semi-variable analysis, we are using the market employees data, including 935 individuals sample. And this data set, let me share with you. This data set actually came along about one of the books which I have already shared with you. Age of the employee, and then age 1, 2, 3. Later on I will explain what is the difference between age without numbering and what is the difference between age 1, age 2, age 3, or what is the difference between any pair of these two. So generally speaking, age, when we talk about age, this is a numeric number, age in years. But when we call it age 1, age 2, age 3, it means we have categorized into different groups. For example, age below 30, age between 30 and 40, age above 40. So these three in this data set, this is how the categories have been defined. Later on I will discuss notes as well, how they have been coded. So for example, age 1 is actually if 1 is assigned, it means this belongs to, age 1 belongs to the category of the employees whose age is below 30. And age 2, wherever you find 1, that indicates the age group of the employees between 30 and 40. And age 3 is the category of the employees who are above 40. अब सवाल ये है, क्वेश्चन ये है कि चले ये here 1 is in the category of age 1. 1 is for the age below 30, but what stands for 0? 0 is for the other possible age groups. Similarly here, 1 represents the age group between 30 and 40, and all other options are 0. It means all other options have been here coded as 0. And when we take up the age group 3, it represents the category of employees above 40, and all other options are coded as 0. So this coding is for the purpose of analysis. 1 is used for a specific age group, and the zeros are used as a reference point to be compared with this particular age group. इसी तरह ये ethnic group है black, but this category does not apply here in Pakistan. We will not be discussing. And then there are different education categories. Generally, when we ask the question related to education, so in general service, the education is listed as in terms of schooling, years of schooling. For example, 16 years schooling, 18 years schooling, or above 18 years schooling, which is a PhD in our case. So, but here education categories have been categorized as education category number 1 actually indicates the employees with education primary or below, जो कि unskilled labor होती है mostly. And education category 2, if education category was above primary, matric or higher secondary school, education 3, BSc or the undergrad level, and above is the education category 4. This is how different categories can be defined, and this way you can analyze your thesis, your data in very effective way to come up with solid, concrete answer to your research questions. So there is no ambiguity or vagueness if you are using proper coding to understand the comparison of different categories in a model. So that is the best way. Experience is generally in years on the current job. IQ level, which is actually the number or score at the time of employment, and employees, when the prospective employees, the possible employees appear as a candidate for their test and interview. So in a written test, their IQ level is estimated and calculated. So generally, highly sensitive positions require this test. Male, female, here we are coding male as 1 and female as 0. Married, whether married, unmarried, again the similar way. And M education, that means male education. South if the person belongs to South, and otherwise 0. Urban if the person belongs to urban area, coded 1 and otherwise 0. Wage is in dollars on the average per day or per week. So now the models can be even estimated and analyzed using the Excel, but we can use preferably SPSS. Now, additional learning from today's lecture is how to transfer variables from Excel to SPSS, IBM SPSS. So how to do it? Since SPSS records variables in a column, but in Excel the variables are in rows. So how to reverse? In Excel, the variable names are as heading of each column, but in IBM SPSS, all the variables are listed in one column. So every row, for example, these are different columns, A, B, C, D. For example, in column B, the header is age, and in another column, column C, the header row is represented by age 1, age 1, age 2, and so on. So these are as many variables as the number of columns. But in IBM SPSS, name of the variable is, it is mentioned in a single column. So these variables have to be transposed from rows to a single column. So how to do it? We need to copy it first, Control C, and then here instead of pasting, we go and we transpose it. तो कैसे ये ट्रांसपोज का बटन जो होगा एरो शुड बी रिप्रेजेंटेड बाय एन एरो ये है इसको हम यहाँ से कंट्रोल सी करके वी कैन ब्रिंग इट टू दिस वेरिएबल नेम्स कंट्रोल बी so this is how the variables are transferred from Excel to the IBM SPSS. This is variable view. It may take a few seconds. It is working, I think.
Recording stopped.
Excel to IBM SPSS. The next task is to reduce their decimal places, because this is a survey data, so it should not have any decimal place. There should be no value after decimal place. So you can do it manually, for example.
Recording stopped.
इसको हम ये ऐसे भी कर सकते हैं, यहाँ पे हम ये 0 करके इसको डिलीट कर दें। इसी तरह 0 डिलीट ये बन आ जाता है। एक्सेल में रखा गया तो क्या था, Alt P है क्या, Alt R Alt P, ठीक है।
Recording in progress.
So after having transferred the variable names from Excel to IBM SPSS, now we will bring the data from Excel sheet here. I have ignored the first column, the observation, because this is the number of observations is already represented by the first column, which is without name, without numbering A, B, C, D, 1, 2, 3. So there is no need of copying observation. Now our data starts from here, Control C, and we go to IBM SPSS, Control T, and this is how the variables now appear, variable names appear. So the data is copied here. So this is how the data is copied from Excel to SPSS. The other thing which is very important before you go for the analysis, that here you can write down the label. Label means age. Age you need to define whether it is the age of the respondents or the enumerator. Enumerators are the persons who are gathering data. So sometimes it creates misunderstanding. But here we know this is, so we will not spend much time on labeling the variable. But we know that this age is the age of the employees. Age 1 is a category another category, black ethnic group, education category, primary, metric, above metric, and BSc, MSc, and experience in years and IQ level is also a numeric variable. Male is gender. So here we need to write a brief description of each variable. So this is how to transfer variables the data from Excel to SPSS. This can also be directly transferred from Excel to SPSS by simply dragging and dropping it on the icon of the SPSS. So SPSS automatically opens, and this is another method. There is a third method as well to directly bring data from Excel to SPSS. That is, you need to go to File in the blank file, import data, and import whether this data is from Excel. So just give the path to import the data from Excel. This is how it can be imported from Excel to the SPSS. The rest of the things we will be discussing in the other videos.
Recording stopped.
टाइम थोड़ा ज़्यादा हो गया, कोशिश करेंगे इसको और भी कम करें.
ठीक है.